Okay, we are going to get started with the first class here in a second and do a welcome. Just letting everybody hop on here first. The first class is I Love Adventure. Once a few more people get on, Patsy's going to say hi, and then we will get started with classes. We have a fun little interactive book for the front of your page. Good morning. Lots of people hopping on. Okay, Patsy's going to say a quick hello and get us started for the day. Good morning from New York. Let us know where you're watching from. Colorado Springs. Good morning, everybody. From Texas. Somebody said the camera is turned. I want to check this out here. It is. Why is it like that? We're trying to get that fixed. Which is weird because that's how we always do it. Okay, is it fixed? I don't know why it's turned like that. We're working on it. Well, this one we might just have to do one page at a time because it's only letting me do up and down. Good morning.
Okay. It'll fit. One page will fit in.
Okay. We are going to get started. We'll say hi to Patsy to start the day.
Good morning, everybody. It is a bright, sunny morning here in Washington, although it did rain yesterday, and we're off to a great start for summer. Although the solstice already appeared, and that means summer is already going away before it actually gets started. So we have a whole set of 4 different classes that I hope you're going to have fun with them today. We have train prizes, so for those of you who are new, if you see this, we will announce, every time a train goes by, we will draw a name and announce a train prize. So we thought that was going to be a problem years ago, but you know what? We just decided if we give away a prize every time the train goes by, then we're good to go. We have lots of things to show you today and throughout the day. And what else do you have, Stace?
One thing I want to mention is if for some reason we lose you, and we drop the feed or something, that rarely happens. But just go back and refresh your page and we will be working on getting another live video going. So if for some reason it drops out or anything, let us know. Also put in the comments if you have a question or anything. We are going to try as quickly as possible to answer all the questions as we go. And let us know where you're watching from. And we will get started with the first kit. What's the first kit?
The first kit is I Love Adventure, and it has this cool little pop-up book that's going to end up on the outside of the page protector. So we're going to work on that.
Okay, so we're going to get set up here, and if you have questions, let us know. We will try to answer them kind of as we go. And I got to turn this way. We're going to get set up here, and Patsy will get going.
Do we need to scoot this over a little bit?
Okay. Our camera's being a little weird today, so is it upside down on your screen? It looks like it is for some reason. Okay, we're going to get this adjusted. While you're doing that, you can start punching out your die cuts. I may need to turn this. I'm looking here.
Yeah, while she's working on that, let's go ahead and punch out any pieces. And I'm sure most of you have probably already done that. But if not, we're going to use every piece in this kit. So go ahead and start punching out a few pieces. Get the chalks out. We will start with what was suggested is Mocha Mama, Spice Cider, and Baja Blue. Spice Cider is one of our brand new ones. Mocha Mama has always been one of our very, very favorites. Also, same with Baja Blue. Those always work. So start it out by punching out any pieces that you see. Save everything, even little frame things that you might think that are trash. We're going to start out showing you how that works.
Okay. So normally we can have the wide screen, and for some reason it's turning it vertical. But I think this should work. And then in between classes we'll work on that and see what's going on with that. Okay.
Okay, so first of all, we have this gorgeous striped paper, and that's going to be our background, this solid one for one page, and then after you've punched out pieces from the center of this, we're also going to use this as part of our background. We'll build a background here. So let's just set these aside for the moment, and you have 2 pieces of paper. Actually, you're going to have 3. So so you don't get mixed up, you have one that's already pre-cut. It's like 11 by 11 or something like that. You want to start with the 2 pieces that are exactly the same size. They're 12 by 12. Go ahead and trim off those labels off the bottom. And what we're going to do with these, we're going to trim them down so that they measure 10 by 10. And if you can see, this border is really pretty. So if you take 2 inches off of one side and off the top, it's going to look kind of lopsided. So what I would suggest is with both of these pieces, trim off your label and then cut 1 inch off the left, the right, the top, and the bottom. And then that will still give you a pretty border, okay? So take a minute and let's go ahead and cut those out. I still need to cut mine out too. So locate both the 12 by 12 pieces. Both 12 by 12 pieces. If you have a smaller piece of paper that looks just like that, that's not the one you want. You're going to take your 12 by 12 pieces and you're going to trim. Are we able to get it all in there? Is that working? Okay.
Well, for this time, it won't go the other horizontal, so we'll just have to do this one vertical, and it's just a small space.
Okay.
So.
So take your two 12 by 12 papers with the pretty flourishes around the edge, and let's take an inch off of all four sides. And that way you still are left with somewhat of a pretty border. And let's do that with both pieces, because these are going to be part of our background. So an inch off the top, the bottom, the left, the right, and then you are left with a 10-inch square. Can you hand me my water off the table? And still some of that pretty border that you, thank you. Okay, so now we have, and these 1-inch pieces you can just set aside, throw them away, or use them somewhere else. Okay, so now we're going to get our striped paper. Set the little 10 by 10s aside here for a minute. You're going to get your striped paper, trim off the label off the bottom. And then you're going to find your striped frame and trim off the label off the bottom of that one also.
The frame is the lasers came out of the inside, right?
Right, the lasers came out of the inside of this frame right here. So there was a square that had some pieces that...
So you should have one full sheet of stripe
Like
and
this.
then one frame that came from the lasers.
Because what happens is we're going to take these 10 by 10s, chalked up the edges, and those glue to the front of the frame and the center of the 12 by 12 solid striped paper.
Somebody thought they were missing a stripe paper, so I just want to tell them where the other stripe one comes from.
Right, it always makes you think that once you sort through things, but know that we do a lot of little improvising here. So, and you know, you can do this a lot at home. If you decide you're going to use this for a background, but you don't really need this, if you're putting something on the front of it, use this in the center. Cut out your center and use them for photo mats. Saves you money on your paper. Use them for photo mats on other parts of the page, but it just gives you more mileage for your paper. So now the other thing is the powder puff chalkings that we suggested are Mocha Mama, which is always popular. Amaretto would work really well here too, because you can see it's got some real vintagey colors. Spice Cider, that's one of our brand new ones, and it looks just like this. You can see how pretty that is. Here's your Amaretto, your Mocha. Find my Mocha here. Rustic Acorn, that's another one out of the brand new kit that you could use. And Baja Blue, that's always a favorite. I'm not seeing mine. Can you grab me a Baja Blue, Stace?
Yep.
So I'm going to use an assortment of these colors here, just so you can see what it looks like. I would think this Rustic Acorn, I mean, see how pretty that looks? And go ahead and chalk up your edges of your 10 by 10 square. Sometimes it's fun to add just a little bit more into the corners. Thank you. So there's your Rustic Acorn. That's really pretty. It matches perfect. And it's really subtle. It's not real dark, like if you were using one of the darker colors. I'll show you what the Rustic Acorn, or that was the Spice Cider, sorry. Rustic Acorn looks like this. And that is in the brand new box if you have that. It's a little deeper, a little darker. And I'm also going to put on, mine's a sample, so it doesn't matter what colors I'm using, but just to show you what it looks like, I'm going to add some Baja Blue to the edge. And that also is a really pretty color. Robin's Egg, that's another brand new one. That would be really pretty. In fact, I'm going to put some on here just to see what it looks like. I'm going to do it on the next one. So this also would be a pretty, really subtle, kind of an aqua color. Okay, there's your Robin's Egg. That's out of the new, brand new kit that we have this year. Pretty. So choose your color, chalk up your edges of your 10 by 10 pieces, and then once you get them chalked up, they glue directly to the center of your striped 12 by 12 and your striped frame.
And as Patsy's going through a bunch of these different colors, I might as well announce right now that just today, it's something we don't ever do. We never put our inks on sale, but just today for all of you, all the single inks are 10% off. So if you decide that you like some of these colors, you can put them in your cart, and if you check out by the end of the day, you actually get a discount on them.
Oh, cool. Can I buy some?
You can.
Okay. I need some new ones. I go through them really fast. And then they make fun of me because I put the wrong lids on. You know, I don't go by the names. I look at the color and see what I want. So, yeah, I may have royal blue on this Baja Blue, but I know what it is. So I'll just let them make fun of me. I don't care. Okay. So now, after you get the color that you choose, you know that Robin's Egg is really pretty. I'm going to look at this one, too. April Showers, that's another one that is, see, look at that. How pretty is that? Am I staying within the,
Yeah.
okay. This one's a little darker than Robin's Egg, but it's also a color that is in this layout. So that's a really pretty one also. So choose your weapon here with your ink colors. Once you get edges chalked up a little bit. And if you haven't ever used the chalk inks before, they are great for defining the part of your project from other pieces. Makes it stand out. Lots of vintage colors in this new line that we have. What's this line? I forget, Stace. What is this one called? The ink line.
Oh my goodness.
Seasons. Is it Seasons?
Yeah.
Well, we're brain dead here. It's Saturday. We're allowed. So anyway, go ahead and chalk up those ink edges. Add one 10 by 10 to your frame, and then add the other 10 by 10 to the center. And I'm just going to tack mine down lightly here because mine is a sample. And then that other 10 by 10 will go in the center of your full sheet of striped paper. Okay, so in this one we have several things that we, lots of strips that we're going to add. So if I go too fast, just send Stacy a note and let her know, and we can slow down just a little bit. In the very beginning, we have a whole set of four little 1/4 inch by 12 inch strips, and I'm going to cut the end off of that, the edge off of that. These are die cut. These are already cut for you. And so we're going to use one of those right now. And it will go on to your page right at the very top very top of your Flourish 10 by 10 square. Okay, add a little adhesive to that. Can you do me another favor and hand me that glue gun, that black one that's up there on the... So 1/4 inch, you have 4 1/4 inch by 12 inch teal strips. And those are part of a die cut. So pull out one of those, add a little bit of adhesive to the back side, and then that will be glued flush to the top of your pretty 10 by 10 flourished square. Then you're going to take another one, and it goes across the bottom of your flourished square. So you have a 1/4 inch across the top of your 10 by 10 square. You have a 1/4 inch that goes across the bottom. Of your 10 by 10 square. And then in your kit, you have a sheet that looks like this. Lots of little passports, lots of pretty little travel strips. We're going to cut out one of these strips. We need one of the 1 inch travel strips, 1 by 12. Go ahead and trim out one of those. And again, it's going to measure 1 by 12. Trim off the little white ends. And then put it in and measure it at exactly 12 inches. And trim off the other little white end.
Leslie said, can you do a greatest hits ink collection? I need the Huma Huma.
Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apawa'a.
Yes. And she actually probably spelled it all right in here.
Thank you for that, because I've been telling my girls the same thing. So we're going to have to do a comeback of the Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apawa'a. Thanks for spelling that perfectly, because I probably couldn't do that.
And we have done a comeback pack before.
We did,
We'll
yeah.
have to
A
put
retro
that one in
pack
there.
or something,
retro
yeah.
pack, yeah.
Yep, we need to do that. Okay, while you're at it, let's cut out this other piece also. You have, we need this. I'm going to trim out both of these at the moment so we can get them out of the way, these red pieces. So go ahead and trim those out. And we need to get these passports out of the way. So I'm going to just trim these, just clip them out. We'll use those later. What we need right now are all these little strips with the little icons on them. Okay, so we'll get rid of some passports for the moment, and we'll continue to trim out these pieces. These are 1 inch. These are, what's left on here are 1 inch by 10 inches. We need to match the size of our flourish paper. So let's go ahead and just trim those all out. We will need them anyway.
Heidi said, both pages, question mark. Are you doing something on both pages?
We're just doing, actually, we're just working on page 1 right now. Once we get the backgrounds put together, those were exactly the same, one on the frame and one on the solid paper. And then now I'm going back to page 1. And this is what page 1 will end up looking like that. So here we have the striped paper in the background. We have our little 10 by 10 flourished paper. And then we started by adding a little teal strip at the bottom of the 10 by 10, teal strip at the top of the 10 by 10. And now we're going to add, right flush to the top of this teal strip, one of these red 1 by 12 pieces goes here. Then up here, there's a 1 by 10 piece that goes just below the teal strip that we just added. So page 1 is what we're working on at the moment. And what I suggest is when you get to, let's see, take your 1 by 12 red piece, chalk up the edges a little bit, and I would go ahead and use one of the browns, like your amaretto, your mocha. Use some amaretto, and it just helps to set it apart from the rest of your layout. So let's just quickly add some color to that. You know what else would look really good on this is like barn board. That's an older one.
Heidi said,
Bloody
is that
Mary.
the solid or the cutout page? It doesn't make any difference because the fronts are exactly the same. Just want to know if it was the one that has the cutout or the background.
That doesn't matter. Once you got that hole covered up, that frame, once that's all covered up, that doesn't matter. You can choose whichever one you want for page 1 and 2. It's all covered up, so nobody will even know the difference, except you. Okay, so I've chalked this up a little bit. This I'm going to glue on, clear across the bottom of the page, right flush to the top of your teal strip. So let's go ahead and add a little adhesive here. And again, I'm just adding a tiny bit, just because mine is probably going to be so many different colors by the time I get it done. I probably won't keep it, but so then once you get that 1 inch by 12 inch red strip, find your 10 inch tan strip. And again, I'm going to add some color to these edges. It has pretty much some nice edging already, but it doesn't show up as good on here as if you go ahead and add some of your Mocha Mama. That's a gorgeous color, but this one also, this is amaretto, and your rustic acorn. See how much difference this makes when you add that to the... So basically you want to just make sure this is 10 inches. I need to trim the end off of mine. You want it 10 inches long, and it's already 1 inch wide. So let's add plenty of color to these edges. And then it just shows up a whole lot better once you glue it down to your page. Add as much or as little of the chalk ink as you choose. And then this will glue. See the difference that makes? We see this in? Is it all showing up in there?
What difference it what makes?
I just want to know if my layout's in the right spot so they can see the whole thing. Move it over a tiny bit.
Just a little bit to the right, I think. It's still catching up, so.
I'm waiting to see if this is totally into the screen here. Okay. So your tan piece, a little adhesive on that, the back side of that, once you get it chalked up a little bit. Goes flush to the bottom of the teal strip near the top of your page, okay?
A little to the right, I think, still.
A little more to the right. that better? I know it's delayed. We can't tell until we give it a second. Is that better?
And I'll come move it a bit.
Okay. Okay, our first train prize of the day. Okay, our first lucky winner of the day is Teresa Engel. Teresa, you are our first train prize winner. Now, when you win a train prize, you don't have to email in or anything. We'll put your name on the list. We have your information. We will get a prize out to you. Good job.
And we have this whole bag full of names, so
Oh,
everybody's in there. If you ordered a kit, you are in there.
Okay, so now we are here. We have teal strip, and then flush to the bottom of the teal strip up here is your 10-inch cream piece, your 1x10 and chalked up edges. At flush to the top of your teal strip here is red, 1 inch by 12 inches. So as you can see right here, skinny little strip, and where we get that from is in your kit you have a 10-inch piece of red, and all we're going to do with this is take your trimmer and you're going to trim out a 1/4 inch. In fact, I'm going to measure it out first here at 10 inches. Let's make sure it's 10 inches long, and then we're going to measure out 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to turn it and go around this way. So you need 2 strips that are 1/4 inch, and then that means you'll have a little bit left over that will be a scrap, or you can keep it for something else. You just need a little bit more than just that 1/2 inch to cut from. So this piece here is extra. You can toss it or whatever. It's just to have something to hang on to while you trim out 2 pieces that are 1/4 inch. So if you want, you can add a little chalk to these edges. You know, when I have something this tiny or this flimsy, I grab the edge of a box, pull this to the edge of the box, and if I just want to add a little bit to highlight a little bit, use that box edge. It adds some, and then turn it around. It's so much quicker than trying to hold it up and chalk this flimsy little piece of paper. So there we have it. Took that long, just a couple seconds, and it's ready to go. Or you can use the edge of your design table. Mine has ink all over it, so it really doesn't even matter if it's ink everywhere. Okay, and then that's going to go right here. 1/4 by 10. So when you get ready to do the next page, it's pretty identical to page 1. But we're going to get through a few things here on page 1, and then we're going to move to page 2, and I'm going to show you how this works. This is just a little flip book. This will end up, see this, we're going to cut a slit in our page protector here, and it's going to end up on the outside so that you can put pictures underneath on your actual background, but this will stay on the outside, and then we have, it just pops open like this. Lots of space for more pictures, so we're going to work on that next. So we'll do a few things to page 1 here to get going, and then we're going to move over to page 2. Okay, so everybody should be pretty close to having all your strips on. Teal, top and bottom, 1x12 red strip right on top of the teal, 1x10 tan strip just below the teal, and a skinny little 1/4 inch red strip that you have cut from your 10-inch red strip. Go ahead and glue those down. And then I think what we're going to do next is this fun little I Love Adventure heart. I'm going to move this aside for just a minute. And we'll put this together. It'll probably go in on last, but it's kind of fun to go ahead and work on this. So you're looking for a dark blue heart. You're looking for a die cut that says Adventure. Kind of a funky little piece here that says Adventure. And then the other piece that you're looking for is, see if I can find mine here. Is the I love part. Get it out of here. Okay. And then in this little die cut here is the word I love. And this is pretty simple. If you want to chalk, what I would do if you're going to chalk up anything, these two pieces are pretty small. So I wouldn't even do anything with them. But you do have this dark blue, and Baja Blue is another one that could work with this, or even the brown. I'm going to try the brown on one side. And that looks really good. It even works well on dark blue. And then I'm going to try the Baja Blue on the other side. And that one's not going to show up quite as well. But the brown would work. This shows up, just not as much. So if you want to chalk up the edges of that heart, do it before you get things glued together, because I think the best thing to do is with these little pieces and lay them out first. Don't glue anything until you've got it laid out, because you will see that the word adventure tucks right up, flush right to the bottom of your word love. And then once you get it in place like you want it, I tore mine a little bit, so I need to glue that down. Once you get it in place like you want it, and make sure it's where you want it, because once you get it stuck down, it's not going to come back up. So I Love Adventure heart. Go ahead and put that together, and we will set it aside. And I think we're going to do one more thing to this first page before we move on to page 2. We'll come back, and you can do, later you can do the little arrow, the chevrons, and the passports, and tuck those in a little bit later. This right here, I forgot to say, just hang on to this so that you can tuck that in, tuck passports in a little bit later. If nothing else, you can trim off the passports so they're actually perfectly even with this. So it looks like they're tucked in. Okay, couple of pieces here. This is your film strip frame. There is a teal frame that goes in the back. Your film strip frame goes in the front. And then you have if you choose to use it, of course a picture is supposed to go behind here, but you also have a 4x6 striped paper that can go in there just for pretty, or if your picture is smaller, you do have this nice border of this striped paper. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it is absolutely. Hear us bragging about our Washington summer, and if you can hear that on our roof, it means it's not really summer here. It's not at all. It's pouring the rain, and our little boys are out playing baseball right now. They all have a tournament.
But we have a tin roof, and so it gets
Yeah.
a little loud. So hopefully
Yeah.
this just passes.
And it does. It always passes. Okay, so there's your frame. And that will go onto your page right about here. But keep in mind that you want to put a picture in later, unless you want to glue it all down and add a smaller picture within this space. You can do that too. So that will go here. And I think what we're going to have you do next is you can see all these little chevrons, just so we get it gets a little tricky when you start to put these together, so that you know exactly which ones you're using. So you should have a whole bunch of chevrons, and I'm going to lay them out here so you can see. You have
Nicole said, can you tell me where the I love part came from?
Okay. The I love part is a little tiny die cut that looks like this, okay? And it punched right out of here. The adventure also is just a little, and I threw my scrap away, but your adventure piece also comes from a little die cut. And I think it might have been, it was just, oh yeah, it should be in there. Okay, your adventure piece looks like this. Came from this die cut that you have. Also have a tan arrow. Okay, that's what that looks like. And then the love piece came out of a teal die cut. It was out of the center of the frame, okay? Center of that little frame that we were just talking about, that you put the film strip frame. Okay, so you should have in your kit 8 larger, okay, 8 larger chevrons. And 4 will be dark blue, 4 will be light blue, or 4 will be teal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and I'm lining them up like this just because now I can go back with my littler ones, and these little ones will be glued right onto the bigger one, just so you have this little backer. So now I'm going to start with a teal one right next to the blue one, dark blue one, and then go every other one on this one. That way you can go right in and glue these things together. And I wouldn't worry about chalking each piece separately. I would wait till you get them glued together and then add some color all at the same time. Then it's a little sturdier, and it works well to chalk 2 pieces all at once. So go ahead and get these lined up. I think we'll take a minute and go ahead and glue them together, and then they're all ready to glue onto your page. This is pretty much what you have. You have 8 little ones, 8 big ones. Line them up every other one, and then just take one, glue it onto the one on the left, one on the left. And I think I'll go ahead and do that, so mine are ready. So I'll start with a little adhesive on the, and then I'm going to show you how this works. So see, I'm gluing a small one onto a big one, and the front, it happens to be the teal. I'm going to take and see, all at the same time you can chalk up these edges. You will get the edge of the one in the back and the edge of the one in the front all at the same time. I'm going to try the brown just for fun. I think the Baja is the best for this one, but you know what? The brown looks pretty good on there too. Either the rustic acorn or mocha. So let's take a minute or two here and go ahead and glue those together. And also, you don't have to get them all chalked up right now. You can also do that later, but this way you know everything's all put together with the little one on to the big one.
Somebody said I can't find the blue under the film strip frame. So there's either this one, this strip, and that is...
We're working on this one right here.
Okay, that is this 3-1.
It's a teal
And
dot.
If you're looking for this one, it is also out of the laser.
Okay, here, the rectangle
is out of the laser. This
is out of the laser, and the word love came out from the middle of that one. I don't know if you can see it in there.
And we haven't gotten to this film strip yet, but this
comes out of the
blue,
same die cut.
Comes out of the same.
So here's the long skinny one for page 2. Here's the one for page 1. Okay, let's continue on putting on. I hope that helps, if that's what you were asking. Every other one is a different color. I just want to layer teal onto dark blue, and then dark blue onto teal. Okay, so then you end up with 8 pieces all glued together. Those are ready to go. You can set them aside and just know that you can glue them on when it's at the end of the class. These things will be super easy. And if you don't get these totally put together as we move on, then it's okay. You can always do it at the end. So I have to announce, though, Garage Mary won't be here today, but she will be back next time that we have a one-day thing. If any of you got one of these in your kit, that is her doings. I have to tell you, it is what she wears on her fingers in order to do all the packaging. She packages hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kits every week. But once in a while, she'll throw one of these in just to throw everybody off. So if you got one of these little finger cots, she has a prize for you, but you have to let us know on that one. They are adorable little calendars, 2026 calendars. So see there? And they have this little mechanism where it stands up. So if you ended up with one of those in your kit, if you're one of the lucky ones that got a finger caught in your kit, be sure and let us know, because Mary has a little cute little prize for you. Okay, so
Nicole's saying, I have the silhouette of the word love, but not the actual letters that pop out. There's no actual letters that pop out. This goes on top of the blue, so the blue shows through. So, yeah, maybe show that.
Okay.
She's looking for the letters, but there's not actual letters.
Okay, this is your letters right here. but it's a negative. This is also your letters, and that's also a negative. So when you take your dark blue heart into the background, you pick up your negative and you lay it on to the blue, and then that's what makes, it's like I think it's a paradigm slant. That means once you see it, then you can never unsee it. Does that make sense? So here we go. There's your heart, there's your words, and it doesn't really make sense, but until you put it on here, and there's your I love words pop out, and then down here is your adventure words pop out. Does that help? Does that make sense? Just when you go to glue them down, make sure that you have it where you want it, because this little adventure is designed to fit perfectly flush right to the bottom of that little curvy line on I love. Okay. So let me know if that helps. So once we get through this, you can glue your photo mat down. You can actually glue these down if you have them all done. What I would do is let's wait till the very end to cut out your passport and your arrow. There's a double layered arrow. And then we're going to move on to page 2 because this takes a little bit of time. So page 2. I'm going to give you a few minutes to put page 2 together exactly like you did page 1. And I won't go through each step, but what you're going to do is you're going to add your blue strip flush to the top of your 10 by 10 square, teal strip, sorry, teal, not blue, teal, flush to the bottom of your 10 by 10. Your other 1 by 12 little strip with all the little travel icons. Up here, your 1 by 10 cream colored strip with all your travel icons. And the little 1/4 inch strip right below that. So go ahead and take a minute and let's get this background page put together. Is that moving, Stace? So you want the background of this to look exactly like page 1. So while you're putting all this together, I'm going to tell you that we just launched. I know some of you have traveled with us before, and some of you are all signed up to travel with us again. We just got back from Bali here just a few weeks ago. It was amazing. We got to up close and personal with Komodo dragons on the island of Komodo. We went to Java, and it was just absolutely a wonderful trip. But we just launched a trip to Norway, and if you're interested in that, it's on our website under travel. And somewhere around $5,900 plus $250 for a private tour. For those of you who just signed up or are ready to, just know that they switched the dates by 2 days, only because I wanted to make it a private tour, and in order to do that, because there were already several people on the public side, and they said it's okay to go ahead and let's do a private one. They add on $250 for the private part, but once we get to a certain number, just before you leave, that comes back off. So anyway, if you're interested in Norway, it's the fjords of Norway. It's like 12 days. Amazing trip. We cannot wait to do that. We also, if you sign up within the next 2 weeks of this launch date, you save $150. If you have gone on a go-ahead trip with us before, you save another $100. If you are signed up for Scotland or you just got back, say you just got back from Bali, you save another, I believe it's another 150. That's all on the website, so check out Norway. Also know that we do have a scrapbook cruise coming up to Alaska, which is next June. May. End of May. And they just opened up a little more space on that, so for our scrapbookers. So we have about 8 spots left on that. That's an absolutely, if you've never been to Alaska, this is the time to go, because you get to scrapbook your whole week and have access to the scrapbook room 24/7. And we will, we have like 5 classes, make and takes, prizes, all that fun stuff. So that's next year, next May, end of next May. And we also have about 4 spaces left on our Scotland and military tattoo trip next August. And there's 6 or 8 spots left on Sicily and Malta. So go to our website if you're interested in any of those. Go to our website under travel and you can check everything out there. You can even sign up right through the website. So now that should give you a little bit of time to get all this background put together. So I think what we're going to do is move on and put this book together. So we're going to do it all at the same time, so we can and in your kit you have a piece of paper that gotta find mine here. This was already trimmed down to, I believe, 11 inches. Let me measure it just to. It's the one I said don't use when you're trimming off edges. Yeah, it's 11 inches. So this is the mechanics for our this pretty little flip book, and I'm going to show you one more time how this works. So it's all decorated on the outside. It is designed to slice your page protector here and your background page here, and then this little flap will slide down into that and adhere there, and then it lets this flop down over the front of your page protector. And see, you can add pictures underneath there, up here if you want to, and then also lots more spaces for pictures when you open it up. Okay, so we're going to work on that right now. And the first thing you need is this 11 by 11 piece of flourished paper. It's bricks on the back, flourish on this side. So we're going to fold one way or the other. We're going to fold. It doesn't matter if you fold it this way or if you fold it this way for the moment, because you can go back and refold. Okay, that part doesn't matter too much. So the goal here is we will fold it in half vertically, we will fold it in half horizontally, and then another important part is we will make one diagonal fold, not two. See, this one's going to be just left alone. We have one diagonal fold like this. So go ahead and take your paper out, fold it in half, and crease it good with a bone folder. It helps to make your book work better in the long run, so crease it good. Fold it in half one way, okay? Fold it in half like that. Open it up. Fold it in half the other way. Make nice sharp creases. And then you're going to fold it in half diagonally, and only one diagonal, just one diagonal, okay? Okay. I'll give you a second to make sure everybody gets caught up so we can do all this second part at the same time. Some of you have done this before, and this is easy for you, but I know if you haven't, it's a little bit tricky to begin with. So if you turn it over, actually, so if your folds are going this way, if they're not, go ahead and refold so that your bricks go to the inside, and all that does is help to limber it up so that it works really good once we're ready here. Okay, so, and I'll go through this again in case somebody is not quite to this spot yet. So what you want to do is just know, and if you can see on your instruction sheet, it has it all laid out for you here too, but this is just a little bit bigger here so you can see it. These diagonal pieces are your peaks, okay? This in the center is a valley, this very center. If it's popped up, take your finger and just give it a little poke so that you have two peaks on your diagonals, and all of your other folds are valleys, okay? So once you get it to this point, you'll see what I mean. Your diagonals are peaks, all your other folds are valleys. This very center is a valley, okay? So then once you get those figured out, you're going to pull your peaks together here. So they're touching, okay? Two peaks together, and then that pulls up your other pieces, and then you just flatten it out and you have a square, okay? Does that make sense? So if it's a little awkward to start with, just keep working at it and you will get this fold. And one more time, once you get it all folded, your diagonals will be peaks. Your other folds will be valleys. The center is a valley. Pull these together so that your folds touch in the middle, okay? Lay it down and press it. And then I would take your bone folder and crease it again. Okay, does anybody need me to go through that one more time? In fact, I will. So we're going to fold it in half this way, fold it in half this way, fold it in half diagonally, and using your diagonals as peaks on the brick side, pull them together, okay? Lay it down and crease it. So that's the mechanical part of our little flip book here. So the next thing that you're looking for is a piece that is 5.5 by 6. Now you have several squares, so measure and make sure it's got brick on one side and the flourish paper on the other side. And so it'll be 5.5 this way, 6 this way. And I'm going to mark this up a little bit here. So here is 6 inches this way. This is 5.5 this way, and this you're going to score this, and I think it's a 1/2 inch. Let me make sure here. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing here. Okay, so you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch from the top, And that means your score line will measure 5.5 inches. So don't score it across the 6-inch side, that won't work. Score it across the 5.5 inch side. And if you need to see your instruction sheet, it's on this little half sheet right here. Here it shows that you're scoring it at 1/2 inch. There's your 5.5, and your 6 is the long way. So 6 inches and 5.5. Score line 1/2 inch across the 5.5 inch side.
Lisa said mine are all 5 by 5.
Okay, you should have one in there that's there. Most of them are 5 by 5, but you should have one in there that's 5.5 by 6. So keep looking a little bit. If not, then, and if you're missing it or something, we can totally get it sent out to you. But so look, stack up all those pieces, and if one is just slightly bigger, so I'm going to score it at.
She found it.
Okay, good. I know that's the tricky part. There are a bunch of squares and they're really close to the same size, but the one we need is 5.5 by 6, and then you're going to score it across the 5.5 inch side. Use your bone folder and your scoring tool, whether it be a trimmer or if you have a score pal right there, whichever works really well. So go ahead and then fold it along that score line. And then we're going to take our background paper, and you're going to add adhesive to the brick side of that 1/2 inch flap, okay? Then what happens is this will go onto your page, making sure that little 1/2 inch is sticking up above your background page. And it's in about 1/2 inch from the left side of your 10 by 10 paper, okay? And then this, after you get the adhesive on, will wrap around to the back. I'm going to add some adhesive to mine just to show you how that works. Okay, so it's about 1/2 inch in from the left side of your 10 by 10 paper. This little flap sticks up above the background paper, and then add adhesive and it folds around to the back. This is what your book is going to be glued to. Okay, did everybody get that part? Okay, I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to add.
Somebody said in the picture it shows it going behind the tan strip.
Yeah, you know what? That's right. Okay.
Doesn't it go either?
Yeah, this can totally do either. You are so right. I'm sorry. Usually that's what we do is put it across the top. But if you haven't glued it down, if you have glued it down, you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's going to actually work just as well right here. But we are going to put it, let me show this part. I'm sorry, I totally lost it. And the way it's going to go behind this tan strip, and I already explained that, and I should have remembered that, but we're going to cut a slit in the page protector right here, a slit in the background page right here, and then this will slide down in to that little slit and actually go over. You know what? And it doesn't If it's up here, it's going to be easier to get on. Either way works. I'm glad because I just told you the wrong thing.
But we'll make up for that with a train
Yeah, well,
prize.
let's draw 2 train
Okay,
prizes.
2 train prizes.
So either way works perfectly well. So if you've already got it up here, don't even worry about it. We'll just use it. Okay, Barbara Williams, you are a train prize winner, and Gail Bramlett, you are a train prize winner. So thanks for your patience.
And I think that was the shortest train we've ever heard here.
Oh my gosh, it is. It was.
5
I never
seconds.
thought of that. Yes. Okay, so no matter where you decide to put this, if it's on here, then you're ready to slide it into a page protector. If you're going to do it like we should have done at the beginning, you're going to have to, before you add your book to your page or your page protector, you will slide this entire thing in, which is this part, into your page protector, and then you will mark your page protector and your background page so you know exactly where to cut. Then you will slide this little flap into that slit. So either way works. And yes, you're right. Whoever that was that sent that note, give them a prize, Stacy. I'm serious. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way.
Well, it was Doug.
Doug? Good
It
job,
has
Doug.
and Mel. So we'll find you.
Okay, so you're going to take your folded paper with all the little valleys and peaks, and I want you to lay it in front of you so that the open the open corner is at the bottom right, okay? Open corner is at the bottom right. And now you can locate some of those squares that we needed to. Let's just take a minute and grab some of these squares here. We need and there's several. And tell you how many just in a second here. Okay, so you should have stuff out of my way here. You should have 3 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 that are has the brick on the back and the flourishes on the front, and then you'll have 2 pieces that are teal, and these are all, tack them up, they're all the same size, so they're all 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, I believe. So 3 pieces that look like this, and 2 pieces that are teal dot. So locate all of these pieces. Okay, so now let's take one of the flourish papers and one of the teal papers and set the others aside for just a second because we're going to do a little bit of scoring, and I'll show you why. Because we are going to make these extra pages that go onto the back of your little book, okay? So that's what this is for. We're going to do right now. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch on one of the teal pieces, and then we'll score it at 1/2 inch on one of the flourish pieces. And it doesn't matter which side you use. If you want to use the back or the front, that's totally up to you. But let's do that before we get any further. And score at 1/2 inch. And being it's square, it doesn't matter which way you turn it. 1/2 inch off of one side. And then once you score it, go ahead and just fold it along that score line. That way you know that this isn't one of the ones that you want to use on the other part. So 2 two pieces at a 1/2 inch. One teal, one flourish. And again, go ahead and fold this one back. Set those aside. Set those aside. We'll get rid of your trimmer or your scoring board. And if you want to chalk up these pages before adding them to your book piece, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. Take a minute so that it'll give you time to. So keep in mind, these are the pages, okay? These two pieces are the pages. And your other three pieces, I'll show you where those go so you kind of have an idea. So here's your book with the two little pages that you scored. Here's one of your 5 1/4 square of your flourish paper, and teal paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and chalk up edges of all these papers before we give you a little bit of time to get things glued together or chalked up a little bit. And these two book pages, you will be able to see both sides of this, so it's up to you. If you want to chalk both sides, you can do that. That's the ones with the score lines. So decide what color you want to try. And again, all those colors that we named are going to be perfect for this. So this piece of teal, this one that's not part of the book page, you only need to do the front. You only need to chalk up the front because that will be glued down solid. And then a couple more pages here, throw some color on those. I'm going to go back to Rustic Acorn. That's a nice deep dark brown, kind of a chestnutty brown. That's what that looks like if you want to use that. If you want to use the spice cider, that's my favorite on this because it matches perfectly and it just gives it a little bit of subtle color around the edges. If you use something different than this and it looks great, let us know what it is. Sometimes it's the most unthought of color that works the absolute best that nobody's even thought of yet. So I really like the spice cider on this. This is such a nice, pretty fall color. Okay, so how is everybody doing? Are we getting close to getting those edges chalked up?
And then just so you know, for time it's 10:19.
10:19?
Yeah. So we start the next one in 11 minutes.
Oh, well, we start the next class in 11 minutes, so we will hustle along here. We're just about done, though. It won't take but another couple of minutes to finish this out. Okay, so get your little folded book in front of you so that your open corner's at the bottom right, your open corner at the bottom right. And we're going to open it up, okay? We're going to open this up. Right here is where you're going to add your pages that you made the 1/2 inch score line. When you glue them on, you want to center them onto that little square making sure you're not going over those score lines, otherwise your book won't close. And go ahead and add some adhesive along that 1/2 inch score line. That will go right up into center of the bottom right corner, okay? So here's your diagonal, bottom right corner. And then I'm going to put the second page in right over the top of that first page. Okay? There's your 2 little pages that you can add more pictures to. Okay, so now here is the tricky part. Actually, we're going to do, we're going to put on this teal page. Let me see here. This is going to go on the other corner, and it glues down solid, just like that. You have this solid corner and this solid piece of paper. So let's go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of that. This one's easy, so we're going to just get it on, center it onto in between the edges and your score lines. Make sure that you don't go beyond the score line. Okay, now we have our little diagonal pieces. So what you are going to do here is, I'm going to show you where. So here's this triangle right here is where you're going to add adhesive, okay? And you don't want to go beyond that score line. You're going to add adhesive here, and then you're going to, and this is at the top left of your, or the bottom left, and it's a top triangle, and then this one is the bottom right triangle, okay? So this, where you see all this messy black line, that's where you're going to add adhesive, and you can put some adhesive in the middle if you want to too, just to hold it in there nice and snug. So let's go ahead and get our adhesive on, and again, it's only on this triangle that is at the top left of this square, and it's only on the triangle that's at the bottom right of this square. So I'm going to get some adhesive on here. And just make sure you're not going over the score lines, otherwise your book won't operate right. Okay, adhesive here. Now I'm going to take one of our remaining 5 1/4 squares, and you can do it either way, but I'm going to put it on so that you can see the flourish piece. And all that's going to be glued is just that triangle to the back of your paper. Okay, so this part will stay free of adhesive. That's where you're going to add here. Okay, and then up here you're going to glue the remaining 5 1/4 square into the adhesive in this triangle, and then that top part remains free of adhesive, and that's how your book will operate. So once you get once you get everything glued down, there's your pages, here's your loose pages glued to your triangle, and then your book should shut just like that, okay? So see, that's where it shows you that using a bone folder helps to limber this up so that it just kind of flops back into place without any getting hung up anywhere. Okay, so once we get that part done, you're going to take this book and add it into onto this flap. No matter where you put it, that's going to glue making sure that your open ends are on the bottom right. You'll turn it over, add adhesive to the back of your little book, and it glues right on and covers up that flap. Okay? And then the only other things that you need to do is add your chevrons, your other frame, and decorate up the front with the pieces that you can see. So everything else goes on, and you should be able to do that with.
And one thing I want to mention is to remind you to not glue down your frame if you don't have your pictures in that yet. You get going and you glue it onto the page, and then it's hard to slide
Right.
a picture in later. So I would just put tack a little
At the
bit.
top and bottom.
Yep. And then you
Some-
can slide a picture in.
I know how we are. Some of you will never get pictures in this, because that's me. That's what I do. I like making things. Finding the pictures is the hard part. So anyway, now that we are getting real close to starting the next class, we will say goodbye for now, and we'll be back at, what time is it, Stace?
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
With this one.
Okay, with Let Your Dreams Take Flight in 5 minutes.